What's up, YouTube? So, the All-22s are finally here. Unfortunately, I already got the actual offense and defense videos done. But I did say that if the All-22s did finally get here, I might actually do that whole video that I was asked to do for Austin Jackson and the offensive line. This probably isn't just going to be about Austin Jackson. I'm probably going to take a look at the entire offensive line as a whole here. But I am going to be putting quite a bit of a focus on Austin Jackson as a guard. So let's go ahead and get into it. I do miss being able to go in slow motion, but we get a decent little combo block on this play between him and Liam. Offensive line held up fine there, but it was a little quick pass as well. Wind it. Usually rewinding it usually cleans up the blurriness. So the whole offensive line is going to shift to the left here. Austin Jackson, not great hand placement, but he's not dying. I'll take it. All right. So Austin Jackson did fine here. He's going to move, has the one hand inside, definitely misses with that right hand, unfortunately, still. Really need him to improve on that. Robert Hunt and Jesse Davis kind of deal with Ndamukong Suh, and Vita Vea is kind of on the outside. Let's see what Joe Tryon does to Liam, because Liam kind of died on this play. Ugh. Didn't try to defeat the hands. Like, I like that he's trying to get his hands inside there. I do like that. But I need him to punch a little bit more effectively. He's leaning too much. Yeah, he just gives up that easy swim move. Luckily, Jacoby Brissett is able to kind of bail him out. That's a lot of what happened this past Sunday. It wasn't really necessarily what our offensive line was doing most of the time. A lot of times it was Jacoby making plays despite them. Jesse Davis is doing a little bit. He's doing okay here. His hands are a little high. That's for sure. And I don't like that hand placement at all. We'll look at Jesse Davis in a moment, because he's getting cooked. Let's go back to that play. Game Pass is so glitchy now. But we're going to move from the left side of the offensive line to the right when we're looking at this. But the focus is going to be on Liam and Austin Jackson mostly with this. But we are going to look at them as a whole. So we already kind of looked at them. Austin Jackson's kind of just standing there. I do like that he goes and helps Greg Mance with Vita Vea. So let's kind of go back here. Let's see what Jason Pierre-Paul does to Jesse Davis. Look at Jesse Davis's feet, man. If Jason was to push him right now, he'd be on his back. And he gave up his chest. He's not punching. Oh, that is hideous. Jesse Davis is so bad. Why do we continue to start this man? Because as much as Liam or Austin Jackson, as bad as they are, at least they're young. This is Austin Jackson's second year. It's Robert Hunt's second year. It's Liam's rookie year. Jesse Davis has been here long enough where this shit should be fixed. Robert Hunt didn't die on that last play, but Liam's leaning way too far forward. But we get rid of the ball quickly, so there's not much to really break down as far as the offensive line on that play. Why didn't that fix it? There it goes. This time we got Shaheen in there to kind of help. Liam's really going to lean into Shaq Barrett. I'm okay with this combo block, them taking Barrett away together. I'm okay with that. Let's, man, I hate Game Pass, dude. Alright, let's take a look at the right side now. Jesse Davis giving up his chest to Ndamukong Suh. That's not good for your health. Luckily, Ndamukong Suh is just kind of playing contain on that play. Let's take a look at what Robert Hunt was doing. Okay, Robert Hunt and Greg Mance are going to kind of double team Vita Vea. Okay. Makes sense to me. Rewind. Start with Liam and Austin. See what they're doing. Got Smythe coming over to help. Gonna double team Golston. Smythe is gonna climb up and get to David. Alright. Greg Mance is just gonna kind of push Vita Vea into Liam and Austin. Effectively just blocking them here. Not mad at that. I'm not gonna bother looking at I wasn't gonna look at the right side of that because we were running the opposite direction, so they didn't matter as much on that last play. Oh, Austin Jackson. That's not great. Okay, let's take a look here. Austin Jackson and Greg Mance. Well, Greg Mance is supposed to be climbing up to the linebacker, so this is really just on Austin Jackson giving up his chest and not using his hands. Look at that. Alright, let's take a look at the right side. Shout out to Robert Hunt getting his guy out the paint. Yeah. Good job there from Robert Hunt. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis against Jason Pierre-Paul. I'm not mad at that. Decent base, decent knee bend. His hands could be inside instead of on the shoulder pads, but he gets the job done. Liam died, but, you know. We'll look at Austin Jackson in a moment. Oh, that's ugly. All right, let's look at Liam. So he's got one hand on Barrett trying to help him there, but look at his knees, dude. What is that? That's so ugly. And now you're not in a position to be able to move quickly to get your hands on this safety. That is so ugly. Let's look at Austin Jackson here. Gave up his chest. Let him defeat that outside hand. Bro. He's not really that much better at guard. I mean, he's not as big of a liability anymore because, you know, the feet aren't as big a deal. But Liam's looking just as bad as a tackle. All right, let's look at Greg. Greg gives Vita Vea a little nice little game there. I'm okay with that. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. What's he do? He's up against Suh. He got his hands inside. Base is a little wider than I'd like. Ooh, look at this little gap exchange. Look at this. All right. Robert Hunt and Jesse Davis. He's going to block Ndamukong Suh. You got Jason Pierre-Paul over here with Smythe, but well, actually that might be Shaheen. But a tight end, and then you've got Gaskin coming over here to help him, so he's about to be double-teamed. And Devin White is coming in, and they actually handle this pretty well. Robert Hunt is going to pass Ndamukong Suh over to Jesse Davis, and then Robert Hunt is going to block Devin White. No, I want to see the play. Game pass. Nice. Jalen Waddle doesn't catch the ball, but that's not what we're here to look at. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Let's rewind that. Bro. Why? No! You sack of shit. I hate Game Pass, man. It's so bad. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's take a look at Liam here. Getting his hands whooped. Bro. I understand the play is not really going to him, but that's just lazy. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Giving up his chest. Let's take a look at Greg. Alright, Greg. I'm not mad at that. Give him a nice little fight. Turn your back so he's got to go through you to get to the ball carrier. Greg's actually not looking too bad. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Miss with your hands. I like that you're climbing. You moved well, but you can't be missing like that. Let's take a look at Liam. Pierre-Paul kind of whooped his ass, but Pierre-Paul also just kept going further than he should have. I feel you. Greg Mance actually might be debatably our best offensive lineman. Either him or Robert Hunt. See, you don't really get to see this as well without the all-22. That's why I really wanted the all-22s for this type of video. So look, we got Liam over here, and he's got Shaheen over there to help. But instead, he's gonna combo block with Austin Jackson. All right, put your guy on the ground there. It's a screen to the other direction, so this side doesn't really matter as much. So let's take a look at the right side of this play. Let's take a look at Greg first. All right, he's going to move pretty well and get his hands on Devin White. I'm not mad at that at all. Actually, I'm kind of liking Greg here. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. I think he was supposed to let him go, yeah. See, Robert Hunt looks lost in zone, dude. Like, he gets out there. He's decently athletic for his size, but he just looks lost once he gets out there. What's Jesse Davis doing? Okay. I would have liked you to hold on to Pierre-Paul there, but... Alright, let's take a look at Liam. Alright, decent hand placement. A little high. You're leaning a little bit, but knee bend's good. Base looks okay. Yeah, it's not a bad little rep for Liam there. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Not a bad rep. Fighting to get your hands inside. Don't like the base too much. Feet are getting a little bit narrow, but it's not awful. Let's take a look at Greg. Him and Robert Hunt are going to double team the guy. Okay. Let's take a look at Jesse. Jesse's hand placement. Oof. I know that's Vita Vea, but he gave up his chest to Vita Vea. Base is kind of narrow. Yeah. Jesse Davis doing Jesse Davis things. Understood. There you go. Okay. Let's take a look at Liam. Looks like his hands are inside there. They are indeed. What happened there? Looks like the defender Golston's got one hand on his jersey there. Just gonna pull cloth. Yeah. Pull the arm down. Okay, let's take a look at Austin. That was so lazy. Like the way he just kind of throws himself into Vita Vea. Man. Game Pass. Work with me here, bro. You took half a season almost to even get working. At least work a little bit now that you're here. Yeah, just kind of lazily throw himself into Vita Vea. What happened to Greg? I got his hand swiped. Why did you get your hand swiped? Lunge too early? Yep. Sure did. Leaning forward. Let's take a look at Jesse. I'm sorry. Robert Hunt. Okay, him and Jesse Davis are going to double team a defensive back. I see. All right, let's take a look at Liam. Got his hands inside, leaning a little forward, feet not great. Knees are kind of... Oof. Yeah, that base is getting pretty wide. But he's got his hands inside. They are a little high, but that's okay. It's a good rep by Liam. Not mad at that. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Looks like he's double teaming with Greg Mance. Indeed. Bruh. Austin, put your hands on this man. Come on, man. Get your hands on this dude. It looks like neither one of them knows that they're supposed to block Golston. Because Mance is trying to come over to help Jesse Davis with Vita Vea. And I don't know what Austin's doing. Austin Jackson is so reluctant to do his job. It's like at Robert Hunt. I almost said Robert Jones. Got his hands inside initially. Okay. Base looked okay. Yeah, he handled it pretty well. I mean, Vita Vea is strong as hell, so getting pushed back isn't really that crazy. But he handled it pretty well. I'm not mad. Let's look at Joe Tryon versus Jesse Davis. He's got some tight end help, it looks like. Not quite. Leaning forward. Oh, that's ugly. Forcing Jacoby to play hero ball. Yeah, I think Robert Hunt and Greg Mance are probably our best offensive linemen at this point. I think that's pretty fair to say. They're not great either, but at least they're serviceable. I feel like if we fix these three positions, if these two were our weakest point of our offensive line, you'd be happy with that. You know, like they're serviceable. But they just look worse when they're next to these people. All right, let's take a look at Liam against Pierre-Paul. Oh, okay. I see. So, they were reading Pierre-Paul there. Okay. So, let's take a look at how they block Vita Vea, because that's what they're going to do. Boy, Austin Jackson. How you let Vita Vea swim move you? That is crazy. That's rough. They're reading it to the other side, so I'm not going to bother looking past them. The other people really didn't have much of a responsibility on that play. So, alright, let's take a look. Basic 4-3. Actually, look like a 4-2 front. Yep. Basic 4-2 front. By the way, as a center, it doesn't matter if these two edge rushers are standing or if they have their hand in the dirt. it's still 4 linemen as far as how you have to block it. This is just a 4-2 front. Doesn't matter if they're standing or not. Okay. Let's take a look at that, right? So, right off the bat, Liam is going to come over here to kind of help Austin with Pierre-Paul. But he reacts pretty late to try to block Whitehead, the safety. I need him to see that a little bit faster. Yeah. But, to be fair, Austin Jackson handles Pierre-Paul pretty decently when he gets there. His hands aren't that great, and really the ball's already kind of coming out when he gets his hands on him, so didn't really have to do much. Let's take a look at Greg. Boy. Got the one hand on his shoulder. Looks like I can't really see what the right hand is doing. Oh, there it is. Got both of his hands inside. Greg's missed with his hands. Getting pushed back. Okay, let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Okay, he passed Ndamukong Suh over to Jesse Davis. Now he's going to come over here and help. Okay. Not mad at that. Let's see how Jesse Davis handled Ndamukong Suh once he got there. Okay, Ndamukong Suh kind of didn't really pressure him that much. Okay. Okay. Looks like Shaq Barrett is going to kind of come off at the last second. Okay, so they're only rushing 3 here. See what happens. Austin Jackson initiates with Golston. Has his hands inside, but he's not really making his hips square with him. Liam is also going to get his hands on him. That's a good exchange. Austin's keeping his head on a swivel. He's seeing that, Greg Manson's kind of getting beat there. We'll take a look at that in a moment. So he's going to pass Golston on over to Liam. And Liam gets his job done. Now, one thing, as far as, defensive linemen jumping up like this, Liam, in the future, if someone jumps up like this to bat the ball down, punch him in the ribs as hard as you can. Just punch him right in the ribs. They'll stop jumping. That's how you fix that. All right, let's take a look at Greg Mance. Just getting over. Actually, he was handling it relatively okay. He wasn't dying. Giving up ground slowly. Popped his feet. Okay. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Greg Mance actually looked fine on that play. I don't think Austin actually had to come off of Golston. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. All right, and Ndamukong Suh kind of goes more hard toward the edge, so Robert Hunt doesn't chase him there. He decides to go and help the center. Okay. Understandable. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis and Ndamukong Suh. Yeah. Ndamukong Suh really didn't pressure him too much. I think Suh knows when he's on the edge like that, he doesn't really have the athleticism to really get that pass rush. Because he's kind of lazily going at it, if I'm being honest. So it looks like we're in the second quarter now. So that means we get a camera change. We're working from the opposite side of the field. So now we get this view instead. Which, when you're scouting offensive line, this is the perfect view. Still, offensive-wise, we're going left to right. So we're starting with Liam. And he got his hands inside initially. Kind of threw his hands a little bit early, though. Kind of lunges. But I'm not mad at that. Nice little rep. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson here. The goalpost is sort of in the way, but Got his hands inside initially. Whoa. Sue kind of looked like he slipped. Yeah, he slipped. Okay. Let's take a look at Greg. Looks like him and Robert Hunt were double teaming Vita Vea. Indeed. Good job. So I'm not going to look at Robert Hunt here because I looked at them together. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis getting whooped by Shaq Barrett. Gave up his chest to the one side, gets his outside hand beat. This is like the default for Jesse Davis. Shaq Barrett didn't even do anything crazy. He literally just told, "Hey Jesse, let's go together to go get your quarterback. I'm gonna hold your hand and we're gonna go together." Gonna go on a nice brisk walk through the park to go sack your quarterback. No. Damn it, Game Pass. You gotta fuck with me, don't you? I don't know why it skips plays like that sometimes. Thank you. So we got Gesicki over here with Liam. Looks like we got Shaheen going over to the right side. We'll get there in a moment. So let's take a look. We got 2 tight ends set. Now, I understand this is probably the read. This is probably the play design. But I don't think our offensive line is good enough to pull this off. I think that Gesicki should have come up to try to at least keep this DB at bay. I know Gesicki's not a very good blocker, but at least get his body in the way. You know? Instead, they kind of double up on Jason Pierre-Paul. Now, I do like this little Voltron thing of you just blocking everyone up in the middle so there's nowhere they can go. Jesse Davis is just clearly just standing in the gap that Ahmed wants to go through. Just standing there, making Adam Shaheen have to block Shaq Barrett and this DB on his own. Jesse Davis sucks, man. He doesn't even look like he knows what he's supposed to do. Yeah. He was actually in the way on that play. We got Vita Vea out at the edge and Ndamukong. This is a weird look. Look at that. Got Devin White and Levante David here. We've got freaking Pierre-Paul over the center. Joe Tryon. Is that yeah, that's Shaq Barrett there. I couldn't tell if that was an 8 or a 2 there. It's a weird look. All right, you got your hands inside on Vita Vea. That's nice. All right, good job, Liam. Didn't die. Looked like Jesse Davis died, but we'll get there in a moment. Joe Tryon is actually going to back up last moment. Looks like Greg Mance kind of passed him on. Yeah, he's going to pass. Actually, no, he really doesn't. Actually, this is just on Austin Jackson. He comes off of Greg Mance, and Austin Jackson reacts to it pretty well. Good job. Take a look at Greg. You can't be getting your hands swiped like that, dude. All right, let's take a look at Robert Hunt. I don't like your feet there. Oh, man. I do not like this look. Greg Mance and Robert Hunt are both just trying to outspread their hands like wings, trying to block 2 people. Because neither one of them did the assignment they were supposed to. At this point, he should have passed Ndamukong Suh over to Austin Jackson and then got his hands on Levante David. So Robert Hunt could take on Shaq Barrett by himself. Alright, let's take a look at Jesse Davis here. Feet are pretty narrow. Gave up the his chest with the right hand. Sue's got control of the right arm. Yeah, it's ugly. I'm telling you, none of these dudes are good. None of our offensive linemen are good. Oh, whoops. Come on, man. Why do you do that? There we go. Cleared up. Alright. Got Shaq Barrett standing up over there. Stop. I hate Game Pass, dude. They had it just fine. Why do they have to mess with it? Game Pass was perfect. They could have just left it alone. Oh, my bad. This is that same play. Okay. No, it's not. These are actually two different plays. They just lined up the same way. Okay, my bad. Let's take a look. Liam. Hands inside, leaning pretty heavy. Let's see if Vita Vea... Vita Vea missed an opportunity there. He's leaning pretty far forward. If Vita Vea were to grab Jesse Davis's hands and just pull down, Jesse Davis would have been on his face. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Misses with his hands, trying to bear hug Devin White. That's ugly. Take a look at Greg. Okay. Pierre-Paul isn't going to rush. At this point, he should have turned to help Robert Hunt, because he was getting destroyed by Levante David. Whatever. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis. Jesse Davis actually doesn't look that bad against Ndamukong Suh. I think this kind of points to the fact that Jesse Davis should be playing guard. Because he's handling these power rushers a little bit better than the quick twitchier guys like Joe Tryon or Shaq Barrett. I don't think Jesse Davis is a good guard either, but I think he's a better guard than a tackle. Start with Shaheen here, I guess. He's on that left side blocking Shaq Barrett alone. Look at that. Shaheen's a hell of a good player. I'm glad we're using him more. Gonna combo block Ndamukong Suh. I'm cool with that. I love this. I love this. Basically just Voltron in this thing, blocking their whole D-line. What I don't like is the fact that Smythe is having to handle this guy alone and Jesse Davis is just standing there. I don't like that. Got Smythe coming over. Gonna help out Austin Jackson there. Okay, that's not bad. Good job by Liam here. He allows Shaq Barrett to cross his face. He's gonna keep a hand on him to kind of help out Austin Jackson, but he's keeping his eyes down here because there's another rusher coming. Not mad at that. Kind of chop blocks him. All right, let's take a look at Austin Jackson here. Got his hands on the face mask. You should bring those hands down a little bit, bro. It's a penalty. Okay. Let's take a look at Greg. It's Vita Vea. Okay, Vita Vea is not rushing. He's not really doing much anything on that play. Okay, actually, this whole side really didn't rush. Boy, Adam Shaheen's fantastic. Helps block Indomitian. Not Indomitian. I don't know why I keep wanting to call Jason Pierre-Paul Indomitian Sue. I don't know why I keep wanting to do that. But he helps Jesse Davis out at first, and when Richard Sherman starts coming around, he hops off of him to help Myles Gaskin block him. It's fantastic. Love Adam Shaheen. Alright. Got one hand inside, fighting the other hand. Okay. Good rep, Liam. How were your feet? Feet were okay. Good knee bend. Leaning a little forward. Austin Jackson's dying. Let's see how that happened. I know it's Vita Vea, but still, giving up your chest. I see. That's not smart. That's not good for your health. Let's take a look at Greg. Ooh, good. Ooh! Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. All right, this is a gap exchange with Greg Mance and Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin handles a gap exchange. Look at that. He's going to pass the linebacker. He's going to block Levante David and pass Devin White to Myles Gaskin. And Myles Gaskin handles it. His form's not great, but he's getting his body in the way. I'll take it, man. That was dope. Buck 90 running back. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Come out and fire on Indomitian Sue. Got one hand inside. Looks like the left is on the shoulder pad, but that's okay. Handles it pretty well. Jesse Davis got at least one hand inside on Pierre-Paul. Yeah, it's not bad. Not leaning too far forward. Handles it well. There you go. Good rep. That's the thing, though. Jesse Davis does show flashes of being decent. Sometimes. Just nothing is ever consistent with him. Alright. Right. That was when we were trying to get him to jump off sides. That's right. Alright, pause that. Let's take a look at Liam. Against Golston. Got the right hand inside. Boy, his base is wide. So, when I complain about the base being too wide or too narrow, there is a reason I say it. When your base is that wide, think about how long it would take. Like, if you had to move quickly in one direction, if you had to go quickly to the outside or quickly to the inside, it would take so much longer for this leg to get over to here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would take time, especially with these big-ass humans. It takes time to be able to get your feet over there. And you're also not that strong this way. You're just off balance. And when they're too narrow, you're too easy to push over. But hands are okay. He's got one hand inside. He's got one on the shoulder. Game pass. It's like it does it every drive. At least once a drive, it does that. And I don't know why. That looks better. It's not perfect, but the base is a little bit better on this play. I'm not even going to bother that last play. Fuck it. Got his one hand inside. He's kind of bear hugging him. Not a fan of that. Alright. Alright, Austin Jackson. He crosses his face. He should come over here and keep helping Liam, but instead he just kind of lets him go on his own. Just goes, pushes Indomitian Sue over. Okay. I feel ya. Because Greg had him. Greg had him. Take a look at Robert Hunt here. Gets his hands inside on Levante David. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't go nowhere. Take a look at Jesse Davis on Pierre-Paul. Got his hands inside. Look at that. Base is looking okay. Oh. There you go, Jesse Davis. Good rep. See what happens when you listen to me? Pierre-Paul didn't get anywhere. More of that. You do more of that and I'll stop bitching about you. And we wouldn't be without Tua. Alright. Let's take a look. Got Shaheen in motion. Okay, we'll get there in a moment. Okay, at this point, Liam should try to pass, I think that's Golston, over to Austin and then try to block the DB. That doesn't happen. Instead, Austin just kind of helps him. Right here is when he should have passed him on. Actually, should have been like a second sooner. But instead, Cockrell just kind of runs free. But as far as the actual rep goes, got his hands inside. Base is looking okay. Anchor actually looks okay. But he should have just passed him. Take a look at Austin Jackson there. Austin Jackson actually does do the right thing. He comes over to him, but just doesn't pass him along. So, okay. Greg Mance got his hands inside on, well, that's a little bit of a gap exchange. Oof. Man. So Devin White is going to cross his face. I don't know I can't remember who 51 is. But man. Okay, let's take a look at 51 versus Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt just kind of lazily puts his one hand on him. And he has to overcompensate to try to block him. And he kind of pushes Mance over. So Devin White has a free... Man. Okay. Alright, Jesse. It's not bad. Not bad little rep. That's definitely hands to the face, but they ain't call it. It didn't happen. I know what you're about to try to do, Game Pass. Don't do it. Got his hands inside. Not mad at that. Leaning a little forward. Base looks okay. Loses initially, but recovers well. Good rep, Liam. Austin Jackson being terrible. I feel ya. What's Greg do? You gonna help Robert Hunt with Sue? Okay. Okay. Actually, Robert Hunt's just gonna pass Sue to him, and he's just gonna handle him. It feels like Sue, when he knows he's blocked, he doesn't even try. You know? Like, he's not really trying to get rid of Greg Mance. Robert Hunt's just going to kind of go over and help Jesse Davis. Jesse Davis got his hands inside. Decent knee bend. Let's see how this goes. Oh, what happened there? Oh, never mind. It looked like he had his hands inside, but no. Pierre-Paul blocked his hands. I apologize, Pierre-Paul. Good little hand fight from Pierre-Paul. By the way, it is, like, I know it's immature, but I still think it's funny when Pierre-Paul beats somebody with his hands. I think it's funny. Okay, got your hands inside there, or at least one hand inside. Ugh. Move your feet, dude. He stops his feet. Look at his feet, man. That's awful. Keep your feet moving. Keep your feet moving. Don't stop your feet. Hand placement wasn't terrible there, but keep your feet moving. You might end up with a holding call, but at least Jacoby will be upright. And that fumble doesn't happen. Let's go back to that play. Don't fuck with me, Game Pass. Alright, man. Game Pass don't want me to look at that play, I guess. This is terrible. Man, the NFL... How much is the NFL worth? They can't get their own website to work properly? Damn, bro. Forgot my damn point. Right. Jesse Davis, right. Stopping his feet. Alright, let's take a look at what Austin Jackson did on that play. Ugh. It's Golston being violent. Gave up his chest, got smacked. Feet all over the place. Ugh. Just gets driven right back into the quarterback. Take a look at Greg. Greg just kind of... Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a gap exchange there. He's going to kind of combo to try to block Pierre-Paul. I'm sorry, is that Sue? No, that was Pierre-Paul, and Dominican Sue's over here. Okay. Jesse Davis just holding hands with Ndamukong Suh. I feel ya. You let Ndamukong Suh take your chest. Boy. Yeah, our offensive line's still pretty bad. Not much has really changed in that department. Perfect. Bear hugging him. Okay, looks like you got one hand inside. Yeah. You got to get both hands inside on Vita Vea. That's the only shot you got. And you stop your feet. Look at his feet here. He looks like he's trying to fly with them. How wide they get. His feet were not that bad in college. They really weren't. I don't know what happened. Speaking of trying to fly, look at Austin Jackson. I don't think he knew what he was trying to do. What is this? Now you're stuck doing the Naruto run. Austin Jackson looks so lost. Come on, man. You can't make this up. Let's take a look at Greg Mance. That's a hands to the face like a motherfucker. Alright, let's take a look at Robert Hunt. What's he doing? Alright. Him and Jesse Davis are both getting work from Pierre-Paul. Okay. It's not funny, but I can't help but laugh. Alright. What do you do here? Oh. Ugh. Shaq Barrett is the read here. Boy, Smythe. CTE Schmeete, huh? He just laid himself out for Myles Gaskin on that play. Jesus. Okay. Let's take a look at Liam. Him and Austin are Gonna lock arms with Vita Vea lovingly. I understand. Let's take a look at Greg. Ah, there you go. Give Vita Vea a little push to help out Austin Jackson. Then he is actually going to smoothly transition. Okay, you get to the linebacker. I'd like your hands to be inside, but the transition was nice. The hands weren't. Okay. Jesse Davis really doesn't matter on this play, but let's see what he does. Okay. Not much. Alright, bro. I didn't want to watch that play Game Pass. Why would I want to do something like that? I only paid $100 for you. Got Preston in motion. Liam getting his hands beat. Okay. Fair enough. What does Austin Jackson do? Austin Jackson was getting whooped a little bit there. Feet narrow as a motherfucker. It's Vita Vea. Yep, sure was getting his ass whooped. Good thing this was a screen. Greg Mance not knowing what to do. Okay. What about Robert Hunt? Got his hands outside, but it doesn't matter. Really, the offensive line play doesn't really matter a whole lot on that type of play, but all right, let's take a look. Take a look, Liam. All right, this was clearly the design for him to go help Austin Jackson with Vita Vea, then have the tight end. I think that's Smythe and Gaskin come over here and help block Shaq Barrett here. As far as Jacoby goes, if these two are blocking here and you see this, you need to step up into the pocket. Like, that's very clear. Step up into the pocket. He does it eventually, but he does it late. Okay. Take a look at Austin. Yeah, they combo block here. So let's take a look at Greg. He's going to come over and, yeah, they're just going to vulture on this thing. Actually, yeah. They just all triple team Vita Vea on that play. Yeah, they push Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea into each other and just crush them. Okay. What's Jesse Davis do? One hand punch? Alright. Fair enough. Didn't look like Pierre Paul was giving much effort on that play, to be fair. Got Smythe over there with Liam. Let's see how that goes against Joe Tryon. Smythe's actually going to run a route. Boy. Liam's feet are all over the place. Sometimes they're super wide, and sometimes he just looks like he's walking. Loses the initial hand fight, but is fighting to get his hands inside. I like it. Base is a little wide, but looks okay. Decent rep. Let's take a look at Austin. Gonna help him at the beginning of the play. What's he do after? Helps Robert Hunt? Why is Greg Mance over here by himself? Well, let's take a look. What happened here? Boy, that's an ugly gap exchange. Holy shit. Why'd you chase him like that? And now that Liam's got him, you're just standing there looking stupid. Okay. So Robert Hunt is going to kind of shadow this guy. Austin Jackson comes over and helps. Bro. Alright, whatever. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis. Miss with his hands. That was atrocious. That was ugly. Okay. His hands inside. Alright. There you go, Liam. Decent little rep from Liam. Alright, let's take a look at Austin Jackson here. Got his hands inside. Driving him. Well, he's got one hand inside. Alright, he kind of pulled you off of him. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't lock up with both hands. Luckily, he's going the opposite direction, so. Let's take a look at Greg. Gonna kind of help out Austin Jackson. He's gonna climb up and get the linebacker, but he doesn't really hold his block. You need to finish, dude. Oof. Okay, good recovery, Robert Hunt. Got beat initially. Let's take a look at Jesse. You need to get your hands on him. Greg and Jesse looking real lazy on that play. Jesse didn't look like he knew what he was doing there. Just, that's a block in the back for one. I say Jesse, I meant to say Liam. What's Austin Jackson do? Okay, he has to come over quickly. Is that Golston he's blocking? Yeah, I think so. Feet are super narrow. Jesse Davis getting his ass whooped. Let's see what Greg's doing first. He's kind of, see your anchor there. Give up ground slowly. Not mad at that. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Missed with his hands. Okay, let's. Boy, Jesse Davis. Let's see what happens here. Feet are narrow. Don't get your hands on him properly. Swiping the hand. Oh. It's the same story with him, man. People just beat his hands to the outside. Liam handles the swim move pretty well. Not swim, I meant spin. It's not bad. Kept his feet moving the whole time. Very nice. Let's take a look at Austin. Got one hand inside, not doing anything with the other. Okay, decent recovery. Kind of got beat initially, but recovered well. He's going to put one hand on each of them to kind of help out the guards. Looking at Greg on that one. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Got one hand on the inside, looks like he's got his right hand on the shoulder. Probably. Not a bad rep. Take a look at Jesse Davis. Hey, got your hands inside. That's a hold, but hey, I'll take it. You didn't die. You didn't die on that play, so I'll take it, man. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Let's take a look. Liam getting his hands beat. Boy. Feet are all over the place. Gets his hands swiped. Doesn't keep his feet moving. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. handles a gap exchange pretty well. Got at least one hand inside, leaning a little bit forward, but that's okay. Not mad at that for Austin. Let's take a look at Greg. Other recipient of that gap exchange. He handles it very well too. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis. Oh. Yeah, this is on Robert Hunt. I know these two are coming from Jesse Davis's side, but look at this. Robert Hunt is going to move here, and I don't know what he's doing trying to get to Devin White, but because he's doing this, it's now up to Jesse Davis to try to block both of these dudes, when Robert Hunt should be blocking at least one of them. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis there. Because he's trying to block Shaq Barrett and Pierre-Paul. And he gets run over by Golston. That's rough. I think that was Golston. Yeah, that one was on Robert Hunt. He looked lost as a motherfucker. Got one hand inside. Getting your hand beat. Right hand anyway. Lost it. Now you're going to defeat the outside hand. Man. Feet are all over the place. Let's look at Austin Jackson. Alright, Vita Vea ends up dropping back into coverage. Austin doesn't really have anybody to block. No one's really that close to him. Not really much for him to do. Let's take a look at Greg. Same story with him. Let's take a look at Robert Hunt. He ends up with a late reaction trying to block Ndamukong Suh. Jesse Davis was once again trying to block Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul. Look at that. The lack of communication, man. And now Austin Jackson's trying to... I mean, not Austin Jackson, but Liam... Jesus. Jesse Davis. Trying to block both of them. And Jacoby ends up scrambling out. Hell of a play from Jacoby. Preston should have caught that. But... Boy, that play from Jacoby looks even better with the All-22. Alright, here's a heavy set. He kind of runs away from the offensive line here, so this one isn't really super important to break down. I think this is the touchdown. Believe so. This one might not be super important for the O-line either. Yeah. Alright, so Liam is supposed to let this guy go. But as far as his block here, he's got his hands inside. Base is looking good. Knee bend looks good. Man, good rep. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson against Vita Vea. Hands inside. Base is a little wide. Yeah, he kind of got his ass whooped, but whatever. Robert Hunt and Greg Mance kind of block Sue and whoever this is pretty much together. I can't tell. He's kind of trapped behind Sue. Jesse Davis is... They're pretty much Voltron in this thing, blocking these three. Yeah, that one's not super important, like offensive line-wise. How many drives did we have in the fourth? 3? Okay. How long is this video so far? We're going on an hour. Holy shit. Okay. This is going to take forever to render. When I get talking about O-line, man, I don't mean it for it to be this long. It just happens. It doesn't even feel like I've been recording for an hour at all. Okay, Liam's just going to chop block him. Let's take a look at Austin on this play. Just going to half-ass it. I feel you. Greg Mance doesn't have anybody to block, so we're just going to move right over to Robert Hunt. I'm going to try to kind of speed through this a little bit now. This is a long-ass video. Not much from him. Oh, is Jesse Davis on the ground? Okay. I'm just going to really lazily try to chop block this guy. Boy. Boy, Jesse Davis. Alright. 51 is Minter. That's right. Alright, so Shaheen is going to take on Joe Tryon and actually do pretty well. That's actually Gesicki. That's a good block from Gesicki. You stop it right. Game pass. Fuck it. I ain't looking at that play. Fuck it. Game pass being a cunt. Alright, let's take a look at Liam. Gets his hand swiped. Yep, let's look at Austin. Gets his hand swiped. Let's look at Greg. Across his face, looks like a Robert Hunt. Misses with his hands, lunges. Bro. Jesse, do you have hands on this play? You have hands on this play. Holy shit. Hey, decent rep in comparison. This offensive line is awful. I realize that Tampa's got a good D-line, but a lot of this is just basic fundamental shit. It's not Tampa's D-line just being dominant on us. It's the Dolphins' offensive line not doing the most fundamental shit. Shit that they teach you in high school. Alright. Liam and Austin handled that gap exchange pretty well. Getting rid of the ball pretty fast. I'm not going to look at Greg here. Yeah, they handled that pretty well. Greg doesn't have anyone to block. Let's go right over to Robert Hunt. Not bad. Doesn't really get a chance to really engage with him. Let's look at Jesse. Got one hand inside. The left hand is on the shoulder pad. Like you keep your feet moving. But that play, the offensive line didn't really have to hold out for very long. Just by play design. Okay. Let's take a look at Liam against Pierre-Paul. Hey. Doesn't get whooped. There. He gets beat, but he's able to reset himself. Boy, Austin Jackson. Golson's going to kind of come over here. You're just trying to shoulder check him, not even trying to use your hands. Let's look at Greg. Alright, Greg and Robert Hunt are just going to double team that guy. Okay. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis with Shaq Barrett. He's got some help. Looks like Gaskin kind of bumps him. Got one hand inside, one on the shoulder pad. Drop from Waddle. Don't even know if he got any grapes. Okay. Gave up your chest, letting Jason just take that arm. Alright. Boy. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Getting your hands beat by Vita Vea. Greg kind of saves you. Okay. Shout out to Greg for saving Austin Jackson's life. Let's take a look at Robert. We'll look at Liam. Not Liam, but Jesse in a moment. I hate this one-hand punch shit, dude. Just gonna let Sue just push you back into the quarterback. He's not trying to give up ground slowly, not using his feet. Let's take a look at Jesse Davis. Just let his hands get swiped again. The only reason he got stopped is because he ran in. Look at this. Look at this. Liam and Jesse get beat so bad that Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul run into each other. That's the only reason that this isn't a sack, is because they ran into each other. That's terrible. All right, Liam. Let's see what you got. Alright. Just kind of shadow drilled him. At least he was able to get the ball back, but you still got pushed back into your quarterback. Let's take a look at Austin Jackson. Nothing really for Austin to... Need to be a little bit more aware. Just let Vita Vea across his face. Almost got his hand on that. Let's take a look at Greg. Greg and Robert are going to double team and Dominic Sue. Alright, let's take a look at Jesse. Got one hand on the inside, left hand on the shoulder pad. It's not a bad rep for Jesse Davis. Alright, that's not bad, Liam. Feet are looking a little bit better. Base is decent. Leans a little bit forward. I don't like that. Got his hands inside. At least one of them is inside. The other was on the shoulder pad. But he doesn't die. What's Austin Jackson doing on this play? Getting bench pressed. Getting pushed into the quarterback. I feel you. What's Greg doing? No one to block. Gonna go help Robert Hunt. Okay, let's take a look at Robert Hunt. Against Golston. Gives up his chest. Decent base, decent knee bend to kind of reset himself. What's Jesse Davis doing? Losing the hand fight, losing the hand fight. Damn it, game. Nope. Game pass. Thank you. Tried to do it. Alright, Austin Jackson and Liam are going to combo block because Austin's going to climb up. Block Shaq Barrett. Okay. Are you going to climb up and block Minter? Not really. Alright, let's take a look at Greg. Bro, you got to get upfield and block Devin White, man. Now you're in your own running back's way. What's Robert Hunt do? Okay. Just pushes him out to play. They're trying to go up the middle, so him and Jesse Davis just kind of need to keep these two over here. They don't need to do a whole lot. What's Jesse do against Tryon? Yeah, it's fine. Liam getting bench pressed. But look at the end here. Gives up ground slowly, pops his feet. Good anchor. Stops Pierre-Paul from keeping to push him into the quarterback. He does eventually stop him. How did Devin White end up on his back? Greg kind of pushed him over. Got it. Yeah, his feet got narrow. Greg just kind of pushed him over. Okay. And then Austin Jackson fell on top of him. All right, let's take a look at Greg, besides just pushing him. He's going to reset. Just try to get him Vita Vea's way. Doesn't really get his hands on him. All right, let's look at Robert Hunt. Boy, trying to bear hug Ndamukong Suh. All right, let's look at Jesse. No. You sack of garbage. It's the last play, man. I just want to look at what Jesse Davis did. That's all I want. Thank you. Boy, he didn't even try to use his hands on that play. He just let Shaq Barrett run right past him. Man, that is a doozy. But, yeah, this was another rough game for our offensive line. Our offensive line is still terrible. But I was getting asked specifically to look at Austin Jackson. But I felt like we needed to look at the offensive line as a whole, to be quite honest. And now that we have the All-22s, we could finally really take a look at it and see how bad it is. I do think that Austin Jackson is probably better as a guard than as a tackle just because the feet aren't as big of an issue. But he's still bad with his hands. That doesn't change. Liam is really, really struggling. Greg Mance seems lost. Robert Hunt tries to bear hug people too much, so he's terrible with his hands. Jesse Davis is terrible all around. It's just bad. I'm not really a big fan of any of them. But, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.